This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show. This is an intro. Who needs an intro? I don't need an intro. This is just a vape show. It's just a vape show. Vape show.
YouTube, what is up? I'm your homeboy Josh, back at you, and today we're taking a look at the Pharaoh dripper tank from Rip Trippers and DigiFlavor. So Rip Trippers worked with DigiFlavor on this project, and the reason that he decided to do that is because they donated $10,000 to his fundraiser that he has going on right now. It's a big fundraiser that Rip Trippers is putting on, and it's definitely a noble effort to get some more funds in for the lawsuits that are going on against the FDA and for our lobbyists in Washington that are out there making a difference for vaping in our community. So kudos to him for putting that together. I'm laying my donation in there too. I'm going to donate $100. So thank you, Rip, for getting that organized, getting us organized. It's a very noble effort, and it's a great idea for you to do that. And kudos to DigiFlavor for laying down $10,000 into that fundraiser. So awesome. Because it's important that we all come together to work to save vaping right now.
So
if you're on social media, you need to remember to paint the best possible image of
that
vaping
you can. If you're a shop or a shop owner, remind your customers that they need to get in this fight if they want to keep vaping. And follow all your calls to action, including those to support HR 2058 and the Cole Bishop Amendment. We all have a part to play.
Wow, well, look at you. Welcome back. It's been a while. You've been snoozing.
Yeah, well, looking at the quality of the videos you've been putting out lately, I don't think I've been missing very much. Oh, burn.
I ain't missed you very much.
You know, I didn't miss you very much either, if I'm being honest.
No, it's been nice without you, having you around, you know.
It looks like you hacked off all your hair. You kind of look like a cross between that dude that fucked the pie and Happy Gilmore.
Kind of a hassle to deal with.
What if I told you about talking down to me? You know what, maybe I'm not ready to come back just yet. Maybe I need a little bit more time.
But, anyway, they love you, so I guess welcome back.
Well, can you blame them? I mean, these people have taste. How many subs did we even lose while I was gone anyway? Does anyone still watch your lame videos when I'm not around? I doubt it.
Anyway, the device comes in this box with the Egyptian Pharaoh on the front of it. He's looking all regal and shit.
I'll take it from here, buddy. I got this. The Pharaoh comes in this black box. It says Pharaoh dripper tank on it. And of course, it's got this image, this crest of a pharaoh here. And the A's in the word Pharaoh, they're kind of like bricks out of a pyramid. In the black spaces of the box, there are also parts that look like bricks coming out of it in red. Back of the box, you got some specs and whatnot. And on the front, bottom of the box, it says it's a Rip Trippers project.
Kind of reminiscent of the Masons and the Alliance from Fogwind and Vaporgate. Kind of like that, but it's got a little bit more flair to the box. It's kind of a cool box, I like that. This is the black version, comes in stainless steel as well. When you open up the box, you got your RDA sitting right there.
Pop the box and open it, and on one side you've got your RDA with the drip tip attached, and you've got a spare drip tip next to it. You lift up the foam out of the box, you've got a baggie of extras underneath. It comes with some extra O-rings, some extra grub screws, a drip tip adapter, and you've got the special Geek Vape screwdriver tool. It comes with a Phillips head and two different size Allen keys, which is kind of funny because all we're going to be using with this device is the Phillips head anyway. But I mean, it's a great tool. I love this tool. I use it all the time. So if you ask me, you can never have too many of these anyway.
Comes with two drip tips.
The drip tips are both about the same size. The only real difference here is, well, it's pretty drastic. One of them has a spit back protection and one of them doesn't. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the spit back protection.
Kind of kills the flavor for me, honestly. I switched that out pretty much immediately for the extra chuff that you get, which doesn't have the spit back protection, because I just don't care for it. Don't care for it at all. It does prevent spit back though, and I gotta tell you, you gotta be careful with how you wick this thing, because if you don't wick it tight enough, then it's just straight spit back every time you take a pull. But if you wick it good and tight into the coil, you won't have the problem. And it's actually a really, really cool design with the deck here. That's kind of the main event, is the deck.
Now the deck on the Pharaoh is definitely the highlight. It's a bridge style clamping sort of system here, but what sets this sort of clamping system apart from the others that we've seen in the past on certain other devices is that it's spring loaded. There's only one screw on each of these clamps that actually tighten it on down, and when you loosen it on up, there are springs attached to the screw that work to lift up the clamps for you. So you're not actually fumbling with any clamps while you're placing your coils into your deck. It just sort of lifts itself up and holds it there for you until you've got everything positioned, and then you can screw everything everything back into place. Very clever is what it is. Very, very clever.
It makes it incredibly easy to mount your build in here and get it all situated, whether it's a single coil or whether it's a dual coil. And there's a lot of room to build here. There's a lot of room for any kind of build that you want to throw. Now, what I've got in here is kind of a shasty. Yeah, it's not a very nice build, honestly. It's an old build that I threw together months and months and months ago. It is a...
And the posts are huge. Like the space, horizontal space on these posts is just ginormous. I have a build in here right now. It's not a great build or anything like that, but it's a triple core staggered fuse Clapton. And looking at it, you can see it's only taking up not even half the available space. And this is like a coil that I made months and months ago when I was first learning how to build. And that's significant because, well, A, it's a shitty build, and B, it's significant because everything here I was using very, very large pieces of wire. I want to say it's something like 3 strands of 24 gauge that's been staggered and fused with 30 gauge. I mean, it's definitely a chunky piece of wire that we're working with here, and there's a lot of room left over. So there's very little that would not fit in here. I can tell you that right now. In terms of chunky builds, this is definitely a deck that was designed for chunky builds.
In terms of the clamping system, it's probably the best clamping system that I've come across. I love the way the springs work and actually raise that clamping section up in order for you to situate your build. You basically open it up all the way. It stays open for you. You don't have to fumble with the clamps, and then slip your build in, close it on down. That's all there is to it. Now, the way that this RDA works is supposedly it's a dripper tank. Okay, supposedly there's a tank here. I'm not seeing it, to be honest with you.
There's a tank here? Wait, where? Where's there a tank here? I'm not seeing it, I'm sorry. Where's this tank?
I get it that there's a well, and there's like this little wall that you can move and close to accommodate your wicking.
Now, the other thing that's kind of unique about the Pharaoh are these little levers on the well that sort of work to close your well up and open it up. Adjust that to the size of your wicking if you want to. If you want to, which I don't. I don't like that feature at all.
That's where me and this device kind of disagree. I don't get along with this mechanism. I don't like this concept because what happens is if you close it, then you can't get juice to the well. It just kind of bounces off that little wall that closes up and opens up. So what I do is I just leave it open and I treat it like a dripper. You know, if they just had made it like a standard dripper, I feel like it would have held more juice that way. I wouldn't consider it a tank, honestly. I consider it a dripper, and I think trying to make it into a tank kind of limited its potential a little bit. With this top cap, the way that it screws on down to the RDA makes your build inaccessible.
It's a large top cap, and what's different about this top cap than a lot of other RDAs that you might see is that it actually screws down into place. This, combined with that 2 milliliter well that those levers work to open and close, is kind of where this device gets its dripper tank function from, if you ask me.
Gotta unscrew this thing and look in there. It's annoying. It's really annoying. So what you're supposed to do is take off this top cap and drip into these things, and then you adjust this little closure here so that it's up against the wicks, but not too tight that it's not going to saturate the wicks, just enough that it closes them off a bit. It's a hassle. I don't like that. I just leave them all the way open all the time.
Another interesting feature is up by the top of the device, there's sort of a catch cup, this little catch cup bowl that's been created by a bit of the top cap, like an inverted sort of drip tip that's going on there. And basically what happens there is if you tilt the device, it's going to catch in that little bowl, that little well at the top of the top cap. So there's very little chance of it oozing out any liquid that way. Oozing out any liquid at the bottom, however,
You can also drip into it, with the top cap on there, but you can't drip straight down. If you drip straight down, there's too many air holes underneath the coil and they're too large that if you drip right down the middle, it's gonna leak everywhere. And this thing will leak if you get juice into those holes. It'll just start trickling out these 3 air holes and then it's no fun. Supposedly you can count your drops and do 10 or 15 on either side. I don't like doing that shit. I'm a dumper, okay? I dump juice. So I do half the dropper bottle in one, half the dropper in the other. That's it.
There's 3 airflow holes on the bottom of the deck, and those airflow holes, they have an intake on the side of the device, and you can adjust that airflow. There's 1, 2, 3 different airflow options that provide airflow. 1 open, 2 open, 3 open, and you can close it off completely as well if you want to. The airflow comes in through the side there, it shoots up at the coil from underneath. So it's a bottom airflow addy, and it's very, very flavorful.
You open up one airflow hole, kind of tricky to open sometimes it wants to stick, but usually it works just fine. One airflow hole open. It's a tight draw, very, very saturated vape, very, very flavorful. 2 airflow holes open. A little bit looser of a draw, not as saturated of a vape, but still very, very flavorful. 1 airflow hole open, it's kind of like you're eating the juice. It's wow. 3 airflow holes open. It's cloudy, it's still very flavorful. I feel like it could have been a little bit more open. I feel like it could be just a little bit more airy, and that would bring it home just a little bit for me. But it's still very, very good, very good. Especially for a beefy coil like what I have in there right now. The vape on it, the vape experience, is what salvages the device for me. It's an excellent, excellent vape. It's incredibly flavorful, it's incredibly tasty. That and the build deck. I love the build space. I love the way the clamps work. The vape on it is dense and flavorful, and I pick up pretty much every nuance in my juice. It's an excellent, excellent vape. I've been enjoying the vape on it. There are a couple functions on it that I just don't agree with, but this RDA works where it screws together like this.
I hate it.
The way that it works with this well that you open and close,
Pointless.
Because it's a dripper. I'm sorry, it's not a dripper tank. And if you try using it as a dripper tank, it just limits its functionality as a dripper.
I mean, 2 milliliters, let's be honest here, that's a dripper with an average sized well. Almost every RDA out there these days comes with 6 millimeter juice wells, sometimes more than that. I guarantee you, they hold more than 2 milliliters of juice. It's nothing impressive to say it has a 2 milliliter tank. It's not a whole lot of liquid that holds. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway guys, that's the Pharaoh from DigiFlavor and Rip Trippers. Till next time, I'm your homeboy Josh. Vape on, Vapers.